Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Nike Free Run Flyknit. Now this is the brand new Flyknit upper variation of the Nike Free Run for 2016. It has a retail price of $130 US, so not particularly cheap, not overly expensive either, but you get that Flyknit upper that really does feel super comfortable. You get the new Nike Free outsole. That's a fair bit different than what we've seen in the past, but at the same time does have its fair share of similarities as well. And if you're looking for a comfortable, lightweight, flexible pair of straight up running shoes that you can also wear casually because they definitely do look the part, this is definitely one of those shoes that you may want to learn a little bit more about. So we're going to go over all the details in the video. I'm going to share my experience with them. We're going to go over tech specs, performance features, take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as talk about how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair for yourself, there will be a buy it now link down below in the description, so go ahead and check that out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. As far as performance is concerned, this shoe is nothing groundbreaking as far as Nike Frees go. If you've worn Nike Frees in the past, these are going to feel quite similar. They've made some tweaks, yes, but it's still part of the same family, and the general feel will be, like I said, pretty similar to what they've done in the past with this particular line. So this being the Flyknit variation, basically what they're doing is I think they're trying to get rid of the whole 3.0, 4.0, 5.0 system. We have the Nike Free Run, and then we have the Nike Free Run Flyknit. One has the mesh infused upper, the other one has the Flyknit upper, and obviously the Flyknit variation does cost a little bit more, but I will argue is a little bit more comfortable in my opinion, and definitely looks the part as well. It's a more attractive shoe. With that said, the actual upper itself is really, really nice. The Nike Free Flyknits that we've had over the last couple of years, although I didn't wear the last Flyknit 4.0, the one before that, I thought they looked really good, but I wasn't crazy about how they fit. It just had a little bit of a sloppy feel in my opinion, where I don't get that same sensation with this particular shoe. It's a one seam or single seam Flyknit upper. So the only seam on the shoe you can actually see right here is on the medial side in a spot where it pretty much doesn't matter. So the actual Flyknit construction is pretty impressive. It's hard to see on this particular colorway, but basically what you have here is the top part of the foot is very, very stretchy and elasticated, and it does have the little perforation, so breathability is very good. And then you have that same kind of stripe design that you see on some of the new training models in the Nike Free line that are a little bit more structured in terms of side-to-side stability, but still are going to maintain a good level of flexibility in terms of how your foot's actually going to bend in the shoe, which is very nice. It does have a traditional kind of running shoe layout in terms of having a tongue in the middle, and again, it's completely seamless, which I'm not sure how they managed to do this. It's pretty cool. The tongue all Flyknit. The midfoot area again has that kind of stripe design where it gets thicker and thinner in between, and then you do have perforations as well. And then of course that's reinforced with flywire cables. So the flywire cables run from the base of the sole through the actual Flyknit construction and then attached directly to the lacing system. So when you pull the laces tight, pulls on those cables, secures your midfoot nicely, and then the forefoot, as you would expect in a pair of running shoes, is left a little bit more free so your foot can kind of freely expand when you actually plant. As far as the heel area is concerned, there's no structure, which I really, really like the feel of in terms of comfort. It's cut a little bit higher at the back, which is not a bad thing either. The lockdown is actually pretty good, all things considered. And the liner is straight up Flyknit as well. There is no added layers on the inside or outside of the shoe, which is, I think, very cool. This is kind of one of the more pure Flyknit uppers that we've gotten from the brand. And then of course you do have the Nike swoosh that's basically painted on either side. That's not fused or anything. I mean, we've had straight up Flyknit uppers in the past from Nike, but this one to me just feels very natural and probably the most pure of anything that we've had so far. So again, this is a straight up running shoe. If you're planning on making quick cuts, changes of direction, you're not really going to get the stability from the upper, especially in the heel and forefoot area, just because there isn't any structure there, because there isn't supposed to be. This is pretty much for running at a steady pace in a straight line, and that's about it. And same thing with the bottom. You don't really have any rubber, so if you're planning on making quick cuts, changes of direction, there's nothing that's really going to grip the ground for you, something that, again, you don't really need if you're just running at a steady pace in a straight line, which is what these are intended for. So insole fully removable. This is, again, nothing changed from previous Nike Free models, mesh liner on top, and it's just an ortholite foam material. Fairly thin, but still provides that nice kind of soft, plush sensation that you expect from an ortholite insole. And then of course you do have the new Nike Free outsole that they're not really specifying on foam. It's different from previous Nike Frees in that they are saying that it's softer. And based on my experience running in these things, they definitely are softer. It does have a significant amount of cushioning underfoot, which depending on your preferences, you may or may not like. I personally don't mind it. I find them very, very comfortable. But again, if you want that super kind of minimalist feel, maybe the Nike Free line isn't the best option anymore, just because, like I said, these do provide a more significant amount of underfoot cushioning than you might expect. Like I mentioned earlier, they're kind of trying to get away from the 3.0, 4.0, 5.0 lines. So this is the regular variation, the only variation that's available right now, and it features an 8mm offset. So basically what that means is your heel sits 8mm higher than your forefoot. So it's basically the heel to toe drop, if you will. So 8mm, not particularly flat, not necessarily kind of a traditional running shoe at 10 to 12mm either. It's kind of right there in the middle. But again, it's still, for most people, is going to provide that more kind of low profile barefoot sensation, but not without lacking some underfoot cushioning, especially in the heel area. Another thing that they kind of touted in the press release is this rounded off heel, as you guys can see, which is supposed to allow for a more natural running motion. It's one of those things that honestly doesn't feel that different when you're actually wearing them. And as far as the outsole is concerned, again, it's a completely new redesigned Nike Free outsole where they basically have these kind of triangular cutouts now as opposed to the regular ones. You can see it's kind of cored out, this 3-shape design. And like any new Nike Free product, they're saying this is the most natural, this is the most flexible, it's the best variation of the Nike Free outsole that we've had. And aside from the cushioning difference, the flexibility and general feel of the outsole, you're not going to notice a difference in comparison to previous models. It's super flexible, feels very natural. And again, if you've worn Nike Frees in the past, these are going to feel pretty familiar to you. As far as rubber is concerned, it's pretty much just straight up foam. All the white you see here, no real extra grip there. But again, you don't need it for jogging in a straight line. Just some rubber in the high wear zone. So at the very back of the heel and then at the very tip of the toe. And that's it. So that's pretty much it as far as the actual layout of the shoe is concerned. The performance is there. If you want a very simple Flyknit upper with that Nike Free bottom, this is what you're looking for. The $130 price tag, it's not too significant. I mean, I guess it's not overly cheap either, but I think the shoe looks the part, it feels the part, it performs the part. And again, if it features what you're looking for, these are definitely a very strong option to consider. Again, for running, this is not a training model. And I know some of you guys, because this is a soccer channel, will ask, can I buy these to play soccer in? Sure, you can kick a ball in them, you can juggle in them if you want. Would I buy these as straight up soccer shoes? Absolutely not, would not recommend it. This is a shoe that you should buy with the intention of either jogging in or wearing casually. As far as weight is concerned, these are pretty light as far as running shoes go, but pretty much the same in comparison to previous Nike Frees. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind that this pair is a size 10 US. I'm going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8 ounces exactly, the equivalent of 227 grams. So again, in comparison to previous Nike Free models, these are pretty much the exact same weight. And overall, if you're looking for a lightweight, flexible running shoe with, of course, that Flyknit upper, this is one of those shoes that is probably on your radar. As far as aesthetics go, for the most part, they just look like Nike Frees. This new Flyknit upper, I think, is really good looking. They kept things very, very simple. This particular colorway probably isn't the best representation of the new shoe. The other colorways have a little bit more complexity to how the actual colors are laid out on the upper, whereas this one is the white and black variation. So basically the Flyknit is a combination of white and black. It's all tightly knit, so tightly that it almost looks like there's gray in there as well, but I don't think there is. I'm pretty sure it's just straight up white and black. But nonetheless, it looks very, very good. This is actually my second pair that I'm probably not going to be doing too much running in. I'm going to be mainly wearing these casually just because I really like how they look. They're super comfortable to wear around, and it's not overly expensive. It's one of those shoes that you can wear and not really have to worry about all that much. But I really like how they look. I think it's a very, very clean looking shoe. The white outsole, the Nike Free bottom. It's one of those shoes, or just a line of shoes, I guess, that a lot of people buy for training, casual wear. They use them for both sometimes. It really just depends on your own personal preferences when it comes to colors and styles. And given that this is Nike free, you can expect to see tons and tons of colors over the lifespan of this shoe. I think it launched with like 9 different colorways or something like that. So if you don't like this one in particular, there are tons of other ones available. Again, there's a buy it now link in the description. Check that out. But let me know what you guys think. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the on-feet portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and of course what the sizing is like. All right, so here is a look at the shoes on feet. On my left foot I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes. And on my right foot I have a pair of black reflective SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. Find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they are very, very comfortable pretty much from the get-go. That's kind of been the case with the Nike Free series ever since it first started. You put them on, they feel very natural. The outsole is obviously very flexible. With this latest version, like I mentioned, the outsole does have a slightly softer, more significant amount of cushioning than what you might expect from this style of shoe, or at least in comparison to previous models. But again, depending on what you like, I think it'd be hard to argue that these aren't more comfortable shoes. But if you want that more minimalist feel, this doesn't necessarily have that, again, in comparison to what the Nike Free line or this particular version of the Nike Free has been in previous iterations. As far as the Flyknit upper is concerned, it fits really, really well. It does have a more snug fit through the midfoot area. Something I didn't mention earlier in the video is that while it looks like it's an individual tongue, it is actually stitched in on the sides right here. So the middle part can only expand so much. And like I said, it does have a more snug fit overall. You have a nice kind of elasticated Flyknit through the forefoot and toe box area. So that's very comfortable. It doesn't feel like it's squeezing your foot or anything like that. But again, it's a running shoe, so you kind of expect that. And then the Flyknit at the back, it basically feels like a pair of socks on your feet. It's really the best way to describe it. They are super comfortable, non-restrictive, and they just fit really, really well. As far as the overall width of the shoe is concerned, they're going to be suitable for most people, although these aren't particularly wide through the midfoot, I'll say. They fit me pretty snug, and I'm not sure if you had that much wider of a foot that they would fit all that well or would look right. Again, I think they'll be suitable for most people, but if you have really, really wide feet, maybe be a little bit careful with this particular model because, like I said, they don't seem to be super wide through the midfoot. Kind of like what we've seen from a previous Nike Frees where they'll fit just about everybody. So just keep that in mind if you are planning on picking these up. And as far as sizing is concerned, I went with my size 10 US, which is a half size up from what I normally wear, but I normally wear a 10 US in Nike Free, so I stuck with the same size, and the fit is about the same as well. So if you've worn Nike Frees in the past, stick with the same size. And I think for most people, if you haven't worn them in the past, going a half size up if you are ordering online is a pretty safe bet if you want the proper fit lengthwise. All right, guys, that's it for my review of the Nike Free Run Flyknits. If you guys are interested in a pair for yourself, there is a buy it now link down below in the description of this video, so go ahead and check that out. If you have any questions at all regarding this particular shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.